Your life isn't stuck because you lack potential. It's stuck because you've been waiting for the perfect moment, the right mood, or someone else to push you. But nothing changes until you change. This audiobook is a raw wake-up call to break excuses, sharpen discipline, and claim the power that's already yours. If you're tired of repeating the same cycles, this is where transformation begins. Before we dive in, take a second to hit that like button and let us know in the comments where you're listening from. You might be surprised to find someone listening from the same place as you. Introduction. Listen closely. Your life will not transform by accident. It will transform the instant you decide to lead it. Success does not begin with your boss, your past, or the economy. It begins with you here now. Most people wait, blame, or delay, circling the same day, as if time itself were a loop. They talk about change as if it were a visitor they must wait to greet. But the truth is clear, and unwavering change is not coming to save you. Change is waiting for you to claim it. This is not about perfection. It is about becoming honest enough to say, I am done donating my power to excuses. I am done mistaking comfort for progress. I am ready to take full ownership of how I live. Ownership is the first threshold. Until you look in the mirror and accept responsibility for where you stand, the good, the flawed, the unfinished, your steps forward will be hesitant and easily undone. Yet that acceptance is not punishment. It is power. If your decisions wrote the previous chapters, your new decisions can author the next ones. Neuroplasticity tells us the brain rewires by repetition. What you consistently do becomes what you effortlessly are. Each act of discipline lays another pathway. Each moment of avoidance deepens another rut. Energy follows attention, and attention is a vote. When you consistently choose what matters, you broadcast a new signal to your nervous system and to life itself. I am the kind of person who shows up. Do not wait for the mood to arrive. Readiness is a consequence of action, not its precondition. Confidence comes after you act. Clarity arrives while you move. Those who wait for motivation remain stuck. Those who honor their standards advance. Make a decision. Rebuild your schedule. Protect your energy. If your finances are scattered, give them order. If your health is neglected, give it priority. If your focus is leaking close, the gates turn off distractions and become precise with your time. There is no perfect moment approaching. There is only this moment asking for leadership. From a spiritual vantage, you are both sculptor and stone. The world does not merely happen to you. It echoes you. The quality of your thoughts, the charge of your emotions, the integrity of your choices, these shape your field. Call it resonance, call it character, call it prayer. In motion, the universe responds most clearly to the person who lives congruently. Each time you align behavior with your highest intention, you refine your frequency. Each time you hide behind delay, you dim it. Integrity is not a performance. It is a quiet current that organizes your life from the inside out. So ask, without decoration, how are you truly living? What do your habits say about your reverence for this one irreplaceable day? If you do not like the answer, let truth be your starting point, not your shame. Begin small if you must wake 30 minutes earlier. Simplify your priorities, set a rule, and honor it. Track actions, not fantasies. Reward progress, not promises. Momentum is built the way cathedrals are built, brick by disciplined brick, unseen by crowds, witnessed by conscience. No one is coming to fix your life for you, and that is the best news you will ever hear. It means the authority is yours. It means you need no permission to rise. Today, not tomorrow, is the fulcrum on which your future tilts. Breathe, decide, and move. Let this audiobook be your mirror and your compass, but let your choices be the proof. Success starts with you. Act like it. Live like it. Begin now. Chapter 1. Take ownership. The first universal law of success. Your life begins to shift the moment you accept the truth that no one else is responsible for it but you. Success does not start with the system, your upbringing, or your circumstances. It starts when you look inward and say, "This is my life, and I claim it." Until you reach that point, you will live in circles, waiting for the world to change before you do, hoping that something external will deliver the life you desire. But reality bends in another way. Change originates inside. The outer world is only the echo of the inner one. Ownership is not guilt, and it is not punishment. It is the recognition of your creative authority. If your previous choices led you here, then your new choices can lead you elsewhere. That is not weakness. That is freedom. From a scientific perspective, this is neuroplasticity at work. The nervous system rewires itself according to repeated input. If you repeat excuses, you strengthen the brain circuits of avoidance. If you repeat courage, you strengthen the circuits of resilience. Every decision is not just a reaction, it is a rewiring of your future self. On a spiritual level, ownership is sovereignty. The ancient texts remind us, "As you sow, so shall you reap." Karma is not mystical punishment. It is cause and effect, the universal principle that what you put into the field returns to you in form. To blame others for your condition is to hand away your seed. To take ownership is to plant consciously. You cannot harvest what you did not sow. You cannot expect fruit where you refused to plant. But the moment you acknowledge this truth, the soil of your life becomes fertile again. Blame is seductive because it offers temporary comfort. It says, "It is not my fault. Therefore, I do not need to change." But comfort is entropy. It dissolves strength, dulls awareness, and disguises decline as rest. Every day you delay ownership, you delay growth. The years slip by under the story that it was someone else's fault, while the power to change was always within you. The truth is sharper. If you created the mess, you can clean it. If your choices wrote one outcome, your choices can also write another. Look at your life as energy in motion. Every thought is a signal, every decision a vibration. To take ownership is to stop scattering your energy into blame, complaint, or self-deception, and to gather it into the present moment where power actually lives. This is not theory. It is practice. Clean up your space if it is draining you. Rebuild your finances if they are chaotic. Tend to your health if you have ignored it. These are not punishments. They are rituals of reclamation. They say to your soul, "I am awake. I am responsible. I am ready." The universe is not withholding clarity from you. Clarity comes when you move. Confidence does not arrive before action. It is born of action. Readiness is not a feeling. It is the result of beginning. Those who wait for perfect timing will never move, because perfection never comes. The cosmic law is simple energy, responds to movement. Take a step, and the path unfolds. Stay still, and the fog remains. Ownership changes identity. It is not only about achieving results, but about becoming someone who follows through. Someone who no longer lies to themselves. Someone who no longer waits for rescue, but stands up and leads. Every time you act with responsibility, you strengthen self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. When you respect yourself, You refuse mediocrity. You raise your standards. You hold your energy with dignity, and life begins to reflect that back. So, today, breathe deeply and draw a line. Say to yourself, "It always has and always will start with me." That is not pressure, it is liberation. No one else needs to give you permission. No one else needs to believe in you. You are the axis on which your destiny turns. Take ownership, and you take back the wheel of your life. Chapter 2. Action over intention. The bridge of discipline. Most people already know what they must do. They know the habits that drag them down, the conversations. They've avoided the work they've been postponing. The problem is rarely ignorance. It is inaction. The gap between intentions and results is bridged only by discipline. You can dream, plan, and declare, but without action all of it remains vapor. Discipline is the great transformer. It takes ideas and crystallizes them into reality. Thinking is safe. Talking about your plans feels good. Even visualizing the future gives a sense of progress. But growth is not built in imagination. It is built in the grit of action. When you rise on the days you would rather stay down, when you take the step you keep postponing, when you move despite resistance, that is when change becomes real. The truth is uncomfortable. Nobody is coming to push you. Nobody will wake you at dawn, silence your distractions, or lift you into consistency. That is your sacred duty. Discipline is not what others demand of you. It is the covenant you make with yourself. Science confirms what philosophy has long taught. Action reshapes the mind. Dopamine, often misnamed the pleasure chemical, is in fact the molecule of pursuit. It is released when you move toward a goal, not when you only dream about it. Every small step forward reinforces the brain's circuits of confidence. Procrastination, by contrast, rewires you for avoidance. It teaches your nervous system that retreat equals safety. Each action, no matter how small, is a vote for the identity you are building. Spiritually, action is prayer embodied. The universe does not respond to empty wishes. It responds to aligned movement. To act is to declare to the cosmos, "I am ready to receive, and I prove it with my effort." The ancients described it as aligning the inner intention with the outer gesture. You cannot vibrate at the frequency of growth while living in the habits of delay. Energy follows through the channels you create. If those channels are blocked by excuses, your intention leaks into nothingness. But if those channels are carved by discipline, your intention flows into manifestation. The bridge between intention and reality is often narrow, slippery, and steep. At the start, your mind will resist. Your body will crave comfort. The ego will whisper excuses dressed as logic. But those first moments of resistance are the fire in which strength is forged. Do not negotiate with laziness. Do not wait for inspiration. Move, rise, begin. Once you do, momentum appears, and what was heavy becomes lighter. Discipline is not a burden. It is the liberation from the chaos of drifting. Remember this law: confidence does not precede action. It follows it. You build belief in yourself by showing yourself that you can act even when it is inconvenient. Each time you choose discipline, you shift your frequency upward. You become someone trustworthy in your own eyes. And when you trust yourself, the world begins to trust you too. So stop waiting for the right mood, the right moment, the right plan. They are illusions. The only truth is the next step taken now. Action is not just movement, it is alignment. It is the bridge that carries you from potential to reality, from dreaming to becoming. Walk that bridge every day, and soon the life you once imagined will no longer be imagination. It will be you. Chapter 3. Clean your habits. Reprogramming your energy field. Your life is not shaped by one grand decision, but by countless small ones repeated daily. Habits are invisible architects. They either build the structure of your future or quietly erode it. If you feel off track, it is rarely because of one dramatic mistake, it is because of the subtle patterns you've allowed to run unchecked. Habits are powerful because they operate below awareness, steering your life when you are not paying attention. From a scientific view, habits are loops in the brain. Cue routine reward. That cycle ingrains itself into your neural pathways until it becomes automatic. That is why reaching for your phone upon waking or skipping the gym feels effortless. The brain has wired it in. Yet the same automaticity can be your ally. Build intentional rituals, and the brain will adapt. This is neuroplasticity in action. What you repeat, you become. On a spiritual level, habits are vibrations embodied. Every choice is a frequency, every routine, a resonance. The rituals you perform each morning set the tone for the entire day, like striking the first chord of a song. If that chord is chaos, scrolling, rushing, delaying the rest of the day plays out in disharmony. But if that chord is aligned, silence, intention, clarity, you broadcast a frequency that magnetizes order. Your habits are not only personal, they ripple into your home, your work, your relationships. They are the energy signature of how you live. Consider the first hour of your day. It is sacred. It determines not only your focus, but your vibration. Begin with clutter, and you invite disorder. Begin with intention, and you set a field of coherence. The same is true for the last hour before sleep, when the subconscious opens. Fill it with noise, and the night multiplies confusion. Fill it with gratitude, reflection, and stillness, and your sleep becomes restoration. These daily edges, morning and evening, are portals where transformation hides in plain sight. Cleaning your habits does not mean perfection overnight. Growth is not about changing everything at once. It is about changing consistently. Replace one destructive routine with one empowering action. Go to bed on time. Drink more water. Read a page instead of scrolling. Move your body when you feel stuck. Each simple act is not trivial. It is an affirmation of self-respect. Real progress is not glamorous. It is quiet repetition when no one is watching. Spiritually bad habits are energy leaks. They drain your field, scatter your focus, and lower your frequency. The longer you keep them, the more they tighten around you. But when you release them, you reclaim energy you did not know you lost. Good habits, by contrast, are like sacred channels. They direct your energy toward creation, expansion, and growth. Over time, they do more than change your behavior. They change your identity. So ask yourself, which habits shape the rhythm of your days? Which ones elevate you, and which ones hold you small? Take inventory without shame. Do not pretend. Honesty is the first step to transformation. Then begin small, steady, consistent. Build new rituals not only for efficiency, but for alignment. The goal is not to live on autopilot, but to design an autopilot that serves your higher self. Because in the end, habits are not only what you do, they are who you are becoming. Clean them, and you cleanse your energy field. Refine them, and you refine your future. Control them, and you control the invisible machinery of destiny. Chapter 4. Choosing growth over comfort, the alchemy of pressure. Every day presents a choice: remain within the familiar walls of comfort or step into the expanding horizon of growth. Most people, without realizing it, keep choosing what feels safe. Comfort is warm, easy, and deceptively kind. It soothes in the moment, but steals from the future. It whispers, Rest, delay. Stay where you are. Yet comfort is not neutral. It is slow decay. It lulls you into stagnation while life moves on without you. Growth, by contrast, is demanding. It feels uncomfortable, inconvenient, and heavy at first. It asks more than you are used to giving. But hidden in that discomfort is transformation. Growth is the sacred fire that refines your character. Pressure is not your enemy. It is your alchemy. Without friction, the stone never becomes smooth. Without weight, the muscle never strengthens. Without challenge, the spirit never awakens. Science affirms this truth. Stress in proper measure sharpens focus and builds resilience. Psychologists call it eustress, positive stress, that fuels adaptation. Too little challenge, and you wither. Too much, and you break. But within balance, stress is life's forge. The brain rewires under strain, the heart expands under struggle, and identity matures under responsibility. Growth is the body and mind's way of rising to meet higher demand. Spiritually, the same law applies. Comfort is entropy, the natural slide toward disintegration. Growth is evolution, the soul's insistence on unfolding. Ancient mystics called it initiation. Trials appear not to punish, but to purify. When you choose growth, you are aligning with your higher self, declaring, "I will not settle for the half-light of potential. I will walk into the flame of transformation." Each time you resist the easy path, you affirm to the universe that you are ready to carry more energy, more clarity, more purpose. Understand, this ease is seductive, but costly. Comfort trades long-term fulfillment for short-term relief. Growth inverts this bargain. It demands struggle now, but pays with freedom later. The discomfort of early mornings, honest conversations, disciplined focus. These are not penalties, but investments. What feels heavy today becomes strength tomorrow. What feels awkward now becomes mastery later. Ask yourself, how often do you choose what stretches you over, what soothes you? Do you decline the challenge and accept mediocrity, disguised as peace? Or do you lean into the pressure, trusting that the weight you bear is shaping someone stronger, sharper, more alive? The difference between who you are and who you could be lies in the choices you make when comfort tempts you. Remember, there is no standing still. Time moves, and so must you. If you are not growing, you are shrinking. If you are not expanding, you are contracting. Life is a current, and to float in comfort is to drift backward. Growth requires you to swim, to move with intention against the pull of ease. So the next time comfort whispers, pause and listen for the deeper call. Growth will not sound sweet. At first, it will sound like resistance, effort, and sweat. But beyond that resistance lies vitality. Beyond that effort lies respect for yourself. Beyond that sweat lies the joy of becoming. The path of comfort leaves you unchanged. The path of growth leaves you transformed. Choose wisely. Chapter 5. Self-accountability, the invisible test. The real measure of your growth is not what you do in front of others, but what you do when no one is watching. Public effort is easy. It earns applause, validation, and recognition. But the private moments, the quiet mornings when you'd rather stay in bed, the evenings when discipline feels heavy, the hours when no one is checking, those are the true examinations of character. In silence, your habits reveal themselves. In solitude, your standards become visible. Accountability in the unseen is the foundation of all lasting success. Most people falter here. They perform well under pressure when eyes are on them, when deadlines force urgency. But once the lights are off and the audience disperses, they relax their discipline, letting themselves slip into delay. This pattern erodes trust, not with others, but with the self. And self-trust is the core of confidence. If you cannot rely on yourself to keep promises in the dark, you will never feel truly strong in the light. Science speaks the same truth. Willpower and self-regulation are muscles. They grow only through repeated use. Each time you keep your word privately, your brain strengthens the circuitry of discipline. Each time you betray your own standard, those circuits weaken, and avoidance becomes easier. Over time, this shapes identity. Either you become someone who follows through, regardless of circumstance, or someone who negotiates with themselves until progress collapses. From a spiritual perspective, accountability is alignment with universal order. The cosmos does not reward pretense. It responds to vibration. Integrity is not the image you project, but the frequency you carry. When your words and your actions align, even in solitude, you emit coherence, and coherence attracts clarity. But when you deceive yourself, you fracture your energy. The universe is not fooled because the vibration never lies. So what does it mean to practice self-accountability? It means tracking your actions, not your intentions. It means asking daily, did I do what I said I would do? Did I give my full effort even when no one cared? It means refusing to lower your standard simply because the world is not watching. Accountability is not about being flawless. It is about being honest. Honest enough to admit where you cut corners, where you delayed, where you avoided, and then without judgment correcting it. The truth is simple but difficult. The standard you keep in private defines the life you live in public. If you accept laziness in silence, it will echo into mediocrity in the open. If you demand excellence from yourself in solitude, it will shine effortlessly when you step into the world. Self-accountability is the seedbed of self-respect, and self-respect is the soil in which confidence grows. Think of accountability as your invisible covenant, not with society, not with your family, not even with your mentors, but with your own future. Each small act of discipline whispers to your higher self, I can be trusted. And once you trust yourself, the need for external approval dissolves. You no longer need to be pushed. You no longer need to be reminded. You rise because it is who you are. This is the invisible test of life. Who are you when no one is looking? Do you betray yourself in silence, or do you honor your word? The answer determines everything, for the unseen always becomes the seen. Choose honesty. Choose discipline. Choose to be accountable not only to the world, but to the one person who cannot be fooled, you. Chapter 6. Act as if aligning with your future self. You will not become your best self by waiting. You will become it by living as if you already are. Most people carry within them an image of a stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of themselves. Someone who rises early, keeps promises, speaks with clarity, and walks with purpose. They imagine this version as distant waiting in some future year, unlocked only by luck, inspiration, or external change. But transformation does not happen that way. You do not stumble into the future self you admire. You create it by embodying it today. This is not about faking. It is about alignment. To act as if is not pretense, but practice. It is a declaration that your behavior will mirror your intention even before you feel fully ready. Neuroscience reveals that our brains respond not only to what is, but to what we repeatedly rehearse. When you carry yourself with discipline, even in small doses, the brain begins wiring that identity as real. Over time, you cease to be someone trying you become someone who is. Spiritually, this is the law of resonance. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you embody. If you wish to become calm under pressure, begin practicing calmness now in your breathing, in your tone, in your posture. If you wish to become disciplined, stop negotiating with laziness and follow through today. If you wish to become focused, start treating your time as sacred currency right now. The universe mirrors frequency, not fantasies. Ask yourself, how does the future version of me begin the day? How does that version speak? What choices do they make when temptation whispers? Do they reach for distractions, or do they stay with purpose? Begin practicing those behaviors now. Even if your voice trembles, speak with clarity. Even if discipline feels foreign, hold your line. Each choice is a rehearsal for the identity you are claiming. Epigenetics shows us that even our genes are not fixed. They express differently, depending on environment, thought, and lifestyle. This means your very biology responds to your behavior. When you align your actions with your highest self, you are not only shifting habits, you are reprogramming your cells. You are literally sculpting your physiology to house the future you desire. The key is consistency. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Begin now. Step into the room with the posture of someone who belongs. Speak with the voice of someone who values their words. Treat your time as though it matters, because it does. The more you act in accordance with your vision, the less space remains for the old version of you. Identity is not a sudden leap. It is a layering of choices until the new self feels natural. This is not easy. You will feel like an imposter at first. That is natural. The old self resists being replaced. But the discomfort is proof that you are expanding. Growth always feels like friction until it becomes flow. Stay the course. Every time you embody your future self in the present moment, you collapse the distance between who you were and who you are becoming. Remember, you cannot think your way into transformation. You must live it into existence. Begin with one action today, carried with the energy of the self you admire. Then repeat. Over time, you will no longer be acting as if. You will simply be. Chapter 7. Drop the excuses, dissolving illusions of the ego. Excuses are the most elegant form of self-sabotage. They wear the mask of reason, but beneath that mask is fear. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'll begin next week. These statements feel protective, as though they shield you from failure. But in truth, they are chains disguised as comfort. Excuses delay your life in exchange for temporary relief, and the cost is far greater than most realize. Years, wasted potential abandoned, and identity diminished. Psychology tells us that excuses are the ego's defense mechanism. To admit that you could have acted but did not threatens your self-image, so the mind invents a story to preserve pride. It is cognitive dissonance holding the truth that you want progress, while refusing to do what progress demands. The story feels safer than honesty, but safety is an illusion. The more you protect your pride with excuses, the weaker you become. Spiritually, excuses are energy leaks. Every time you tell yourself a false reason for inaction, you fracture your vibration. Instead of channeling energy into movement, you disperse it into justification. Excuses lower your frequency, keeping you locked in cycles of stagnation. The universe responds not to your words, but to your energy, and excuses carry the frequency of avoidance, not creation. The truth is, excuses thrive on vagueness. They dissolve in the light of clarity. When you clearly see that you are the one delaying, the illusion loses its grip. That is why radical honesty is liberating. It removes the fog and leaves only the path forward. You do not need to shame yourself. You only need to admit what is real. Say, I did not do it because I chose not to. That honesty, though painful, returns power to you. If you chose not to act, you can also choose to act now. Excuses also hide in busyness. You tell yourself you are occupied, but deep down, you know you are avoiding what matters. You stay active, but not effective. Productivity becomes performance, a distraction that feels righteous, but leads nowhere. This is another mask of the ego activity, without alignment. Release it. Recognize that excuses are not protection. They are prisons. They protect only the smaller version of you, the one who fears trying and failing. But that same protection suffocates the greater version of you, the one who grows through effort. Which will you keep alive? The choice is stark. Either defend your limitations or dissolve them. Ask yourself now, what excuse do I repeat most often? Which story do I hide behind when I know I should act? Be ruthless with your answer. Awareness is the first step in breaking the pattern. Once you see the lie, you no longer have to live it. The universe does not demand perfection, but it demands sincerity. Excuses vibrate with dishonesty. Truth vibrates with power. When you let go of excuses, you free energy to create, to act, to move. You step into alignment with who you are meant to be, not who you've been pretending to be. From this moment forward, commit to one rule: no more excuses. If something matters, you will do it, not when it feels right, not when conditions are perfect, but now. Excuses dissolve when confronted with action. Take the step. Begin. The energy of progress will silence the voice of delay. Freedom lives on the other side of excuses, and it is waiting for you. From Chapter 8, Master Your Time. The Cosmic Clock of Life. Time is the one resource you cannot replace. Lose money, and you can earn it back. Miss an opportunity, and another may appear. But time once spent is gone forever. Every hour is a fragment of your life exchanged for what you choose to do. The question is not whether you have time. The question is what you are trading it for. Your life is the sum of those trades. Most people do not run out of time, they waste it. Not in grand catastrophic ways, but in small leaks. 10 minutes of scrolling here, 30 minutes of distraction there. These fragments add up until months vanish, and years blur together. Then one day you look back and wonder, where did all that time go? The answer is simple. It went where your attention went. Science affirms this truth. Attention is the gateway to neuroplasticity. The brain rewires based on where you place your focus. If your attention is scattered across distractions, your brain becomes wired for distraction. If your attention is disciplined toward growth, your brain becomes wired for clarity. Time is not just a measure of minutes. It is the architecture of your mind. Spiritually, time is sacred currency. Ancient traditions saw time not as linear, but as cycles, moments that carry energy and opportunities for renewal. The first hour of your day is not just another 60 minutes. It is a ritual opening. Begin it with noise, and you scatter your vibration. Begin it with silence, focus, or gratitude, and you tune your energy for the day ahead. Likewise, the final hour before sleep is a portal into the subconscious. Waste it, and you program your mind with clutter. Use it wisely, and you plant seeds of clarity that grow overnight. To master your time is to treat it as divine. Do not drift into your day without shape. Give your hours intention. Block time for what matters most: your health, your purpose, your relationships, and guard those blocks as sacred. Do not let trivial demands rob what is priceless. Every yes to distraction is a no to destiny. Practical discipline is required. Look at your screen time. Look at how many hours dissolve into activities that give nothing back. Then ask, what if I gave even half of that to building my craft, strengthening my body, deepening my mind? You do not need more hours. You need better use of the ones you already hold. There is also a difference between rest and waste. Rest is renewal chosen intentionally to restore energy. Waste is avoidance, a retreat into distraction that leaves you emptier than before. Rest rebuilds you. Waste drains you. Learn the difference and honor it. Time is a mirror of value. How you spend it reflects what you truly prioritize, not what you claim to prioritize. You cannot say you value growth while devoting your hours to triviality. The universe responds not to your words, but to your patterns. Your patterns of time reveal your devotion. So decide, will you let time master you, or will you master time? Each day offers the same 24 hours, but the way you use them defines who you become. The wise treat time as sacred as the cosmic clock of life, and they align their choices with what matters most. Do the same. Protect your hours as if they were gold, because they are. And once they are gone, no force in heaven or earth can return them. Chapter 9. Radical honesty facing your shadow. Change does not begin with effort. It begins with truth. You can set goals, adjust your schedule, or read a dozen books. But if you are not willing to admit what is truly holding you back, you will circle the same obstacles endlessly. Most people avoid this step. They hide behind busyness point to external pressures, or soothe themselves with partial truths. But until you face the shadow you've been avoiding, you cannot step fully into the light of growth. Radical honesty is not about shame. It is about clarity. Psychology calls this shadow work, the willingness to acknowledge the parts of yourself you prefer to ignore. Maybe it is the laziness you disguise as taking it easy. Maybe it is the fear you dress up as waiting for the right moment. Maybe it is the lack of discipline you explain away as being too busy. These are not flaws to condemn, but truths to face. Because what you refuse to see will quietly control you. Science offers its confirmation. Denial consumes energy. Suppressing uncomfortable truths taxes the nervous system, creating stress beneath awareness. The brain spends effort maintaining illusions, leaving less energy for real progress. Honesty, by contrast, liberates energy. The moment you name the problem, your mind can begin restructuring toward a solution. Awareness is a release valve. It frees the power that was trapped in avoidance. Spiritually, truth is purification. Ancient wisdom teaches that the soul is weighed down not by failure, but by falsehood. When you live in denial, your vibration fractures. When you live in honesty, your vibration aligns. The universe cannot bless the mask you wear. It responds only to the frequency of your authenticity. To face your shadow is not to become less. It is to become whole. Ask yourself now, what have I been pretending not to see? Where am I cutting corners? Which patterns do I excuse, but know are limiting me? These questions are uncomfortable precisely because they matter. The answers sting, but that sting is medicine. It awakens awareness. It calls you back to integrity. Do not fear admitting weakness. The strongest people are not those who hide flaws, but those who expose them to the light and transform them. Every block you confront becomes a stepping stone. Every truth you admit becomes energy returned to you. Honesty is not the end of growth. It is the beginning. Remember this law: you cannot fix what you will not face. You cannot heal what you will not name. Pretending costs more than failing. Excuses drain more than effort. The shadow you deny will sabotage you until you acknowledge it. But once you turn toward it with honesty, you reclaim power. You stop living in fragments and begin living as a whole being. So choose honesty today, not once, but daily. Strip away excuses. Face your patterns. Admit where you fall short, not with cruelty, but with courage. Truth is the foundation of transformation, and radical honesty is the doorway through which the best version of you must pass. The light you seek is waiting on the other side of your shadow. Chapter 10. Prove through action. Embodying change. Daily change does not live in words. It does not appear in dreams or in promises whispered late at night. Change is born in the furnace of action. Consistent, deliberate, sometimes uncomfortable action. You can declare intentions, visualize outcomes, and even believe deeply in your potential. But without proof in your behavior, nothing truly shifts. Action is the evidence of transformation. This is where most people stumble. They think change begins with belief, but belief alone is not enough. You must act as if you already carry the discipline, the clarity, the strength you desire. The brain learns through repetition. Hebbian learning neurons that fire together, wire together. Each time you act in alignment with your higher self, those neural circuits grow stronger. Each time you delay, excuse, or negotiate, you reinforce the old pathways of stagnation. Change is not mystical, it is physiological. It is wiring new maps in your nervous system through repeated behavior. From a spiritual perspective, this principle is equally profound. The scriptures and sages echo the same truth. Faith without works is dead. Intention without action is an echo without a sound wave. It carries no force. When you move, you release energy into the field. That energy resonates outward, attracting resources, people, and circumstances aligned with your motion. Action is alignment. It is how the invisible becomes visible. Do not wait for perfection. You will miss days. You will stumble. But setbacks are not failure. They are feedback. Each time you fall, you are given another chance to rise stronger. The true test is not whether you stumble, but whether you resume. Progress is not built on flawless performance, but on relentless persistence. The ones who transform are not the ones who never slip, but the ones who refuse to quit. Practical change is deceptively simple. Wake when you said you would. Honor your schedule. Complete the task, even if it is small. Eat with intention. Move your body. Protect your time. These actions are not glamorous, but they are sacred. They prove to your subconscious that you can be trusted. And once self-trust is built, momentum becomes unstoppable. Every action is a vote for your future self. Each disciplined choice is a brick laid in the cathedral of your becoming. Over time, those bricks form structure, and that structure becomes identity. Action transforms not just what you do, but who you believe you are. The moment you stop waiting and start embodying, you collapse the distance between intention and reality. So let this be the call: stop announcing and start proving. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect and begin with what you have. Each step forward, however small, carries infinite weight because it is real. It is evidence, and evidence reshapes belief far more than imagination ever could. Prove through action that you mean what you say. Prove through action that your future matters more than your excuses. Prove through action that change has already begun because it has the moment you move. Chapter 11. Build discipline. The sacred muscle. Motivation is fleeting. It rises and falls like the tide. Discipline, however, is the solid ground beneath your feet. It does not depend on moods, weather, or inspiration. It is built, trained, and strengthened like a muscle. The people who rise above mediocrity are not the ones who feel motivated every day, but the ones who have forged the ability to act, even when motivation is absent. Science offers clarity here. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of decision-making, becomes stronger through repeated acts of self-control. Each time you resist a distraction, each time you follow through on a promise, you are literally sculpting the brain for greater discipline. Willpower is not some mystical gift reserved for a few. It is a neurological resource that grows with use. Like any muscle, it tires when overexerted, but grows resilient when consistently trained. Discipline is not restriction. It is freedom. Without it, you are enslaved to impulse, to moods, to external pressure. With it, you become sovereign, able to direct your time and energy toward what matters most. Discipline is the great liberator, allowing you to rise above the pull of comfort and align your days with your highest vision. Spiritually, discipline is devotion in motion. Every tradition has known this truth. The monk rising before dawn, the yogi holding posture, the warrior sharpening his craft. Discipline is their prayer. It is the practice of aligning body, mind, and spirit with a chosen path regardless of resistance. To live without discipline is to live scattered, reactive, ungrounded. To live with discipline is to live in harmony with your own higher order. Think of discipline as sacred fire. It burns away laziness, excuses, and distractions, leaving only clarity and strength. At first it feels harsh, but soon it becomes warmth, the steady flame that guides you through difficulty. The struggle you feel when you practice discipline is not punishment. It is purification. Each act of discipline says to the universe, I am ready to carry more. Practical steps are simple, though not easy. Start with one rule you refuse to break. Perhaps it is waking at a specific time. Perhaps it is honoring an hour of focused work without distraction. Perhaps it is daily movement. Do not make it extreme, make it consistent. Let this rule become the anchor, then add more gradually. Over time, these anchors form a framework that holds you steady, even when the storms of life come. And they will come. You will be tired, tempted, discouraged. Your mind will whisper excuses, your body will crave comfort. But discipline means you act anyway. That single phrase, act anyway, is the essence of strength. It is the difference between those who drift and those who ascend. Remember, this discipline is not about becoming rigid or joyless. It is about channeling your energy with intention. The river that flows without boundaries becomes a swamp. The river with banks carves valleys and generates power. Discipline is those banks. It gives shape to your life, turning scattered potential into flowing strength. So train it daily. Treat discipline not as a burden, but as your sacred muscle, your devotion, your freedom. Because once you build it, you no longer wait for moods, you create momentum. You no longer hope for progress, you ensure it. And in that state, you are no longer at the mercy of chance. You become the master of your path. Chapter 12. Energy Management. Protect your vibration. Every day you wake with a limited reserve of energy. How you direct, guard, and renew that energy determines the quality of your life far more than the hours you log. Most people do not fail because of lack of potential. They fail because they leak energy into places that do not serve them. Energy is your true wealth. your life currency, and it must be spent with precision. Science confirms what ancient wisdom has long taught you are an electromagnetic being. The heart generates a measurable electromagnetic field that extends beyond the body, and your thoughts and emotions modulate its frequency. Anger, fear, and resentment lower coherence, scattering energy and weakening resilience. Gratitude, love, and clarity raise coherence, strengthening immunity, sharpening focus, and drawing order out of chaos. How you feel literally tunes the field you carry into every room. From a spiritual view, energy leaks occur when you live out of alignment. Gossip, distraction, toxic environments, unresolved guilt. These are subtle thieves, draining your vibration without your awareness. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is stewardship. You cannot give light if your flame is dim. You cannot pour into others from an empty vessel. Guarding your vibration is the first act of service to yourself and to the world. Practically, this means designing your life as an energetic filter. Choose relationships that nourish instead of deplete. Choose food that fuels rather than numbs. Choose environments that inspire instead of suffocate. Even your digital world matters. Every scroll, every headline, every sound enters your field and leaves an imprint. If you do not curate what comes in, your energy will unconsciously be spent on what does not serve you. It also means actively recharging. Energy is not endless. It must be renewed. Rest is not laziness. It is maintenance. Silence is not wasted time. It is recalibration. Movement is not optional. It is circulation. Meditation, prayer, nature, breathwork. These are technologies of the spirit designed to reset your field. When you weave them into your daily rituals, you create a baseline of coherence from which you can act with clarity and power. Be ruthless with what drains you. If certain habits sap your focus, cut them. If certain conversations pull you down, step away. If certain environments lower your vibration, spend less time in them. Protect your field as you would protect your home. Not everything deserves entry. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every demand deserves your time. Managing your energy also means honoring your cycles. Some hours of the day carry natural peaks of clarity. Protect those hours for your most important work. Do not squander your prime energy on trivialities. Likewise, honor the valleys. Give yourself permission to rest when renewal is required. Fighting your natural rhythm creates friction. Flowing with it multiplies strength. Remember, success is not about doing more, but about channeling your energy into what matters. 1 hour of focused, coherent energy outweighs 10 hours of scattered effort. When your vibration is high, doors open, people respond, opportunities align. You feel in flow because you are in flow. Your field harmonizes with the larger field of life. So treat your energy as sacred. Protect it, renew it, direct it. Because the life you live is nothing more than the echo of the vibration you sustain. Manage your energy, and you master your destiny. Chapter 13. Resilience. Turning pain into power. Life will not spare you from struggle. Difficulty is not a detour, it is the path itself. Pain visits every life, but how you respond determines whether it becomes your prison or your power. Resilience is the art of alchemy, transforming hardship into strength wounds, into wisdom, and setbacks into stepping stones. Science describes this as post-traumatic growth. Research shows that many who endure profound challenge emerge not merely recovered, but stronger, wiser, and more purposeful. The nervous system adapts under pressure. Muscles tear and rebuild stronger. Neural circuits stretch and rewire. Resilience is not avoidance of difficulty, but adaptation through it. The very stress you resist is the pressure that forges growth. Spiritually, trials are not punishment. They are initiation. The soul incarnates into human experience, not for ease, but for expansion. Pressure refines character, like fire refines gold. Chaos is not chaos. It is sacred disorder breaking down what is weak so that something stronger may emerge. This is why ancient wisdom traditions describe suffering as the forge of awakening. Without weight, you cannot discover your strength. Without storm, you cannot learn your depth. Resilience is built through choice. You may collapse under pain, asking, "Why me?" Or you may rise within it, asking, "What can this make of me?" One question leads to despair, the other to transformation. Pain itself is not the enemy, resistance to it is. When you lean into difficulty with acceptance, you reclaim your power. When you fight it with bitterness, you scatter it. Consider the lotus, it blooms only in mud. Its roots sink into the darkest waters, yet its petals rise pure and luminous. Resilience is the lotus within you. Do not curse the mud, it is the condition for your blooming. Practically, resilience begins with reframing. Instead of labeling struggle as setback, see it as training. Every difficulty is a weight added to your spirit's gym. Each repetition strengthens resolve. Reflect daily. What did today's challenges teach me? What inner muscle did I train? Such reflection transforms wounds into wisdom, making pain meaningful rather than meaningless. Another key is recovery. Resilience is not relentless strain. It is the rhythm of strain and renewal. Just as a muscle needs rest between lifts, your spirit needs moments of restoration. Practices of stillness. Breath, meditation, prayer are how you metabolize difficulty into strength. They allow pain to integrate, not calcify. Remember also that resilience is contagious. When you endure with grace, you emit a frequency that strengthens others. Your presence becomes a lighthouse, not because you never faced storms, but because you survived them and still shine. This is spiritual leadership, not in words, but in example. So the next time pain arrives, do not ask for its absence. Ask for its teaching. Do not curse the weight lifted. Do not resist the storm. Learn to sail in it. Because resilience is not what happens to you. It is what happens through you. When you choose growth in the midst of difficulty, you transmute pain into power, and power into purpose. This is the hidden gift of hardship. It forces you to meet the version of yourself that only pressure can reveal. Chapter 14. Align with purpose. The North Star of your life. Without purpose, effort feels hollow. You can rise early, work tirelessly, and even achieve success by society's standards, yet still feel a quiet emptiness gnawing at you. Purpose is the compass of the soul, the North Star, that gives direction to your energy, meaning to your sacrifices, and endurance to your struggles. Without it, discipline becomes drudgery. With it, discipline becomes devotion. Science affirms the power of purpose. Psychologists such as Viktor Frankl, who survived the concentration camps of World War II, revealed that those who endured were not always the strongest in body, but the clearest in meaning. His logotherapy rests on this truth. When life has a why, it can endure almost anyhow. Purpose strengthens the immune system, sharpens focus, and expands resilience. A mind tethered to meaning has endurance that far exceeds one tethered only to goals. Spiritually, purpose is not something you invent. It is something you remember. Eastern traditions call it dharma, your soul's unique assignment. It is the current you were born to swim in, the song only you can sing. Purpose is not always glamorous. Sometimes it is quiet, humble, even hidden. But when you align with it, You feel the unmistakable hum of resonance, as if the universe itself whispers, "Yes, this is the path." Purpose does not mean every step is easy. In fact, it often demands sacrifice. But sacrifice under purpose feels different. It feels sacred. You know the discomfort is not wasted, it is invested. Even fatigue becomes meaningful when it serves a vision larger than your comfort. That is why people aligned with purpose seem unstoppable. They are not driven by mere willpower. They are fueled by a deeper fire. Finding purpose begins with listening. Beneath the noise of ambition, fear, and imitation lies the quiet voice of your true calling. Ask yourself, what activities make me lose track of time? What injustices break my heart? What visions keep returning, even when I try to ignore them? These are clues. Purpose leaves fingerprints in your passions, your pains, and your persistent dreams. Purpose also evolves. Do not wait for a lightning strike of clarity. Begin with what you know now and let the path unfold. Each step taken in sincerity refines direction. Just as a sailor adjusts to the wind while keeping sight of the North Star, you too can course correct along the way. Purpose is not rigid. It is living, dynamic, responsive. Spiritually, when you align with purpose, the universe aligns with you. Opportunities arise not by accident, but by resonance. People, resources, and ideas seem to appear at the right time because your energy is magnetized by clarity. What you once chased begins to flow toward you. This is not magic. It is alignment. So do not drift aimlessly. Do not burn energy without direction. Anchor yourself to a vision that transcends comfort, transcends ego, and transcends fear. Let purpose be your North Star. With it, your steps gain weight, your sacrifices gain meaning, and your life becomes more than survival. It becomes significance. For in the end, success without purpose is still failure. But even the smallest progress under purpose is victory. Choose your North Star and let every act of discipline be a way of walking toward it. Chapter 15. Consistency, the quantum secret of momentum. If discipline is the spark, consistency is the fire that never goes out. Greatness is not born from one grand act, but from thousands of small ones repeated faithfully. Consistency is the quiet force that compounds effort into excellence, the invisible current that carries you further than motivation alone ever could. Science explains this through the principle of momentum. Newton's first law states that an object in motion tends to stay in motion. The same is true for human behavior. Once you begin, you generate energy that makes continued action easier. Each repeated choice strengthens neural pathways. Habits become automatic, effort becomes lighter, and discipline becomes identity. What once required immense willpower begins to flow naturally. Spiritually, consistency is devotion. It is the practice of showing up not only when you feel inspired, but when you feel tired, distracted, or uninspired. It transforms ordinary repetition into sacred ritual. The mystics understood this prayer, meditation, service, study all become transformative, not through intensity, but through constancy. Consistency aligns your vibration with stability, and stability attracts abundance. The universe responds most to what you sustain, not what you occasionally attempt. The greatest danger to growth is not failure, it is inconsistency. Missing one day is human, but abandoning the path because of a stumble is surrender. Consistency does not demand perfection, it demands return. Each time you fall, you rise again. Each time you drift, you realign. This is the rhythm of mastery: effort, fall, renewal, repeat. Practically, consistency is built through structure. Set systems, not just goals. If you wish to read, schedule a daily page, not an occasional weekend marathon. If you wish to move your body, create non-negotiable times, not vague intentions. Anchor new habits to existing ones. Meditate after brushing your teeth. Write after your morning tea, stretch before bed. In doing so, consistency becomes less about willpower and more about rhythm. Spiritually, repetition reshapes identity. Each consistent act is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, these votes accumulate until the new self emerges, not as a dream, but as reality. This is the quantum secret of momentum. Small aligned actions ripple outward, altering not only your days, but the field of possibility itself. Do not underestimate the power of daily presence. The person who trains for 10 minutes a day will outgrow the one who trains intensely once a month. The person who writes a page a day will finish a book, while others still wait for inspiration. The one who chooses alignment repeatedly will awaken, while others sleep in comfort. Remember, consistency is not glamorous. It is quiet, ordinary, often invisible. No applause greets you for showing up again. But the silence is deceptive, for within it, you are weaving a fabric of destiny. One thread at a time, one day at a time, until the tapestry reveals itself. So, commit not to occasional bursts, but to sustained presence. Be steady, not sporadic. Let your life become proof that greatness is built not by chance, but by consistency. In time, you will discover that what once felt impossible is now inevitable, because momentum once built carries you where willpower alone could not. Chapter 16. Transcendence, becoming your higher self. There comes a point when success is no longer about goals, habits, or even discipline. It becomes about transcendence, the rising above the small self into the greater self. You were not born merely to survive, to pay bills, or to achieve milestones. You were born to evolve, to awaken, to embody the higher consciousness that pulses through all of existence. Science hints at this truth through the study of human potential. Neuroscience shows that the brain is plastic, capable of rewiring itself through focus and intention. Quantum physics reveals that energy responds to observation, implying that consciousness itself shapes reality. Psychology has mapped the hierarchy of needs, but beyond food safety and esteem lies self-actualization and even higher self-transcendence, where life is lived not for ego, but for essence. Spiritually, transcendence is the journey of remembering. You are not merely flesh and thought. You are energy, awareness, spirit, clothed in form. Your struggles are not random. They are curriculum. Your gifts are not accidents. They are assignments. Every choice, every lesson, every act of discipline is training you to move from survival to significance, from comfort to contribution, from the small self to the higher self. To transcend means to shift identity. No longer are you defined by your past mistakes, your fleeting moods, or the labels others gave you. You begin to see yourself as a vessel of growth, a co-creator with life itself. Your worth is no longer conditional. It is intrinsic. You no longer chase validation. You radiate authenticity. You no longer seek control. You embody alignment. Practically, transcendence is cultivated through awareness. You notice the space between stimulus and response, and in that space, you choose consciously. Instead of reacting, you respond. Instead of clinging, you release. Instead of resisting life, you flow with it. Every time you act from awareness instead of impulse, you are stepping out of the old self and into the higher one. Transcendence also means service. The higher self does not ask only, What can I gain, but what can I give? True fulfillment is found not in accumulation, but in contribution. When your actions uplift others, when your presence inspires peace, when your life becomes a light, you have touched transcendence. This is why the sages radiate calm. They are no longer trapped in the small storms of ego. They live from the center, and that center is universal. Do not mistake transcendence for perfection. It does not mean you never feel fear, doubt, or anger. It means you see them for what they are, passing clouds, not your sky. You hold them, observe them, release them. You no longer collapse into them. You are the sky, vast and unshaken, while experiences drift across your awareness. In time, you realize transcendence is not a destination, but a state of being available now. You can live as your higher self today by choosing truth over comfort, love over fear, presence over distraction. Every moment offers the doorway. Every choice is a step across the threshold. This is the culmination of the journey. Beyond ownership, beyond discipline, beyond resilience, lies awakening the realization that success was never about becoming someone else. It was about remembering who you already are. Infinite, capable, connected, whole. And when you live from that place, your life ceases to be a struggle for survival. It becomes a song only you can sing, a song that uplifts not only you but everyone who hears it. That is transcendence, becoming your higher self, here, now, forever. Conclusion. The eternal journey of self-mastery. Your life does not change in a single sweeping moment. It changes in the steady rhythm of decisions made daily, in the courage to rise after each fall, and in the devotion to grow, even when it hurts. This audiobook has not been about quick fixes or secret shortcuts. It has been about remembering that you are the author, the sculptor, the alchemist of your own becoming. From the beginning, we uncovered the first truth. Success starts with you, not with luck, not with external permission, but with ownership. We explored discipline as the sacred muscle habits, as invisible architect's energy, as vibration, and purpose as your North Star. We studied resilience, accountability, consistency, and transcendence, not as lofty ideals, but as daily practices available to anyone willing to choose them. Science affirmed what ancient wisdom has always whispered. Your nervous system rewires with repetition, your energy field responds to emotion, and your brain reshapes itself through intention. Spirituality reminded us that every struggle is initiation, every challenge a teacher, every choice a step into either contraction or expansion. Philosophy grounded it all with timeless questions. Who am I becoming? What do I serve? What will I leave behind? And now, the final reminder, you are not finished. This is not the end of a book. It is the beginning of a new way of living. Self-mastery is not a destination you arrive at. It is an eternal journey, a path walked one conscious step at a time. You will stumble. You will resist. You will forget. But each time you return, you grow stronger. Each time you recommit, you realign. Think of your life as a spiral, not a straight line. You may revisit old lessons, but from higher ground. The same struggles may appear, but you will meet them with deeper wisdom, sharper discipline, and greater grace. This is progress, not perfection, but evolution. And above all, remember, you are not powerless. The same force that spins galaxies and lifts the tide flows through you. The same intelligence that breathes stars into existence breathes through your lungs. You are not separate from life. You are life expressing itself uniquely as you. When you live from that awareness, Fear shrinks, excuses dissolve, and potential becomes reality. So as you step forward from this moment, carry this truth. Your habits are your prayers. Your discipline is your devotion. Your purpose is your compass. Your consistency is your altar. Your higher self is waiting, not in the future, but in every choice you make today. Do not wait. Do not delay. Begin now, because the journey of becoming your best self has always begun in the same place here, in this breath, in this decision. Rise and keep rising. The world is waiting for the light only you can give. Thank you for listening with an open mind and heart. If a certain chapter or insight resonated most with you, share it in the comments. You might help someone else find exactly what they need today. Keep this book saved so you can return to its words whenever life calls for reflection or guidance. I wish you health, peace, and wisdom in every step you take.